Welcome back to the Deep Dive. This is the place we take on these, huge, complex topics, and we try to boil them down into what you actually need to know.
And fast.
And fast.
Yeah.
Today, we are swapping the spreadsheets for the sand. We are diving into a dream topic. Buying property in Phuket, Thailand.
Ah, yes.
That paradise island, the stunning beaches, the incredible atmosphere. For so many people, it is the ultimate goal to own a little piece of it.
It is. But if you've ever even thought about buying property overseas, especially somewhere like Thailand, you know it can feel daunting.
It can feel like you're trying to read a map where the ink is invisible, the laws, the process. It's a lot.
And that's our whole mission today. Think of this as a shortcut. We're going to give you the essential legal and financial framework you need.
So you feel prepared, not just completely overwhelmed with information.
Exactly. It's like getting the pre-trip briefing from someone who's already there, on the ground.
And we have the absolute perfect source to guide us. This entire deep dive is built on expert insights from Ocean Worldwide.
They're a luxury real estate agency that's been operating in Phuket since 2004, so they have seen it all.
And we are really leaning on the experience of their director, Sandra O'Neill. She has personally helped, thousands of families and investors get this done.
Successfully get it done, which is the key part. We're unpacking the crucial advice she shares so you can secure a smart, safe investment.
Whether it's a holiday home for you or, a pure income-generating property.
Knowing these rules up front, it just saves so much time, and it prevents what could be really devastating, expensive mistakes.
Okay, let's unpack this then. We have to start with the single most important thing, the absolute foundation for everything else.
The foreign ownership laws.
Right.
This is the critical starting point. If you remember just one thing from today, make it this. Direct ownership of the land by a non-Thai national is generally not allowed under Thai law.
So you can't just show up and buy a plot of land.
No. Foreigners have to use specific, very well-established legal paths to secure a property, and that really leads us to the two main options.
And the most straightforward one, the path that actually allows for direct freehold ownership, is buying a condominium.
Absolutely. A condo is the simplest route, but it is governed by something called the condo quota.
The quota. What's that?
So Thai law says that foreigners, as a group, can own up to 49% of the total sellable floor space in any single condominium building.
Ah, okay. So it's a protective measure for the local market.
It's a legal safety valve, exactly. As long as that 49% foreign quota hasn't been filled up, you can buy a unit and own it outright.
Yeah.
Freehold.
Now, tied to this is a financial rule that I hear trips people up all the time, the money. It can't just come from anywhere, really.
Not at all. And Ocean Worldwide is really clear on this point. The money has to come from overseas.
You can't just transfer from a local Thai business account or a friend's account.
No, absolutely not. And this is where a document called the Foreign Exchange Transaction Form, or FET, becomes your golden ticket.
The FIT.
It's crucial. The money for the purchase must be transferred from an overseas bank account into Thailand. A Thai bank then converts it to Thai baht and issues you this FTF form.
And that form is what you take to the land department.
It's the official government proof that your funds entered the country legally for this specific purpose. It's an anti-money laundering measure, and without it, the transfer simply will not happen.
So condos are relatively simple, as long as you follow that money trail. But what about the bigger dream? The private villa, the infinity pool, the garden?
Right. Since you can't own the land, how do you secure it?
Exactly.
Well, there are two main workarounds. The most popular by far for villas is leasehold.
So you don't own the land, you lease it.
Correct. A foreigner leases the land for a set period, which is typically 30 years.
You're 30 years. That doesn't sound very long term.
Well, the contracts are structured with options for 2 more 30-year renewals. So the goal is a 90-year arrangement.
The goal is 90 years. But is that a guarantee? I feel like there's a catch.
And that is a fantastic question. The renewals are not automatic or guaranteed by today's law. It all comes down to the strength of the contract you sign today.
So your lawyer is everything.
Non-negotiable. They have to draft a contract that gives you the maximum possible legal protection for those renewals. You own the building, the bricks and mortar, but the land under it is on a long-term lease.
Okay, and what's the second option for a villa?
The other route is setting up a Thai company to own the land. But this comes with its own set of complexities.
Which is that Thai law requires at least 51% of the company's shares to be held by Thai nationals.
Exactly. And this raises a very important question. What about illegal nominee structures?
Right. This is the big danger, isn't it? Where the Thai shareholders are just names on a paper used to get around the law.
That is the chief danger. Using nominee shareholders is illegal, and it makes the whole structure vulnerable. The government can challenge it, and you could lose everything.
So if you go this route, you need an impeccable lawyer.
You need a qualified, independent Thai property lawyer who can ensure the company is structured for legitimate business purposes, protecting your control of the asset legally.
That advice really sets the stage perfectly for our next section. Before you even start browsing listings, before you picture that, 4-bedroom villa in land, you have to clarify your purpose.
Yes. What is this property for? Is it purely a holiday home? Is it a serious investment for rental income? Or is it some kind of mix?
Because that answer dictates everything else. The location, the type of property, all of it.
And it links directly to your budget. And I don't just mean the sticker price on the listing.
Ocean Worldwide's analysis is really good on this. It stresses all these other costs you have to factor in.
The obvious ones are things like government transfer fees and taxes, your legal costs, of course.
And furnishing. Most of these high-end places are sold as empty shells.
Exactly. But it's the ongoing costs that people often underestimate. You've got annual property taxes, monthly management fees for the estate,
Security, pool cleaning, landscaping.
utilities, insurance. And in a tropical climate, you need a healthy maintenance budget.
Yeah.
The humidity, the salt in the air, the pests, it takes a toll.
Plus, if you're sending money from, say, the UK, the currency exchange rate can fluctuate and eat into your budget.
It can. But on the flip side, the investment payoffs can be really substantial. We're talking about two things: capital growth and rental yields,
Capital growth being the value of the property going up over time.
which in Phuket has been pretty steady, especially with big infrastructure boosts like the airport expansion. But rental yields are your immediate cash flow.
And with Phuket being a global tourist magnet, the demand is high.
It is. You can see potential gross rental yields of around 6 to 10%, depending on the property and location.
And this is where the property type really matters again. Condos versus villas.
A huge difference. A condo will typically give you that higher yield, maybe 6 to 10%, with more moderate capital growth. It's an easier entry point for investors.
Lower legal complexity, easier to rent out short term.
Right. A villa might have slightly lower yield, say 5 to 9%, because the initial cost is so much higher. But it usually comes with much higher long-term capital growth.
So that's the choice for luxury living and long-term appreciation.
Precisely.
That distinction is a perfect bridge to talk about location. We've got the legal path, we've got the financial reality. Now for the fun part, where on this amazing island do you actually buy?
And what's so fascinating is how diverse Phuket is. It is not one big beach. The neighborhood you pick really defines your entire experience of owning property there.
Okay, so based on the source, let's break down some of these vibes. Where are the high-energy, high-turnover spots?
You start with Patong. That's the epicenter of nightlife tourism action. It's where you'll find some of the highest gross rental yields, maybe 7 to 10%.
But it's busy. Lots of wear and tear on the property.
Very transient. Now, contrast that with Bang Tao, especially the Laguna area. That's the established upscale luxury zone, gated communities, 5-star resorts.
A completely different type of renter.
Totally. You're attracting high-end clients, long-stay families. So the rental yields might be a bit lower, maybe 5 to 7%, but your capital appreciation, your long-term value is generally much stronger.
Okay, so Patong is for cash flow, Bang Tao is for stable value. What about somewhere in between? A balance.
For that, you look south to places like Rawai and Nai Harn. They offer fantastic value for money, a more laid-back lifestyle.
Popular with expats and families who live there longer term.
Extremely. And you can still get really respectable yields, say 6 to 8%.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Phuket Town, which is even more affordable and attracts digital nomads and long-term residents.
The key takeaway from Sandra O'Neill's analysis seems to be watch the infrastructure.
Absolutely. The airport expansion, new roads, these things can transform a quieter area into the next hotspot, really boosting your property's value.
All right, so you've got your budget, you've picked a location, now you need your team. And here's where it gets really, really interesting, because you cannot do this alone from overseas.
You need a trusted local guide. First up is a reputable real estate agent. They are your eyes and ears on the ground.
They do more than just show you properties.
So much more. They guide you through all the market quirks, they help you avoid the common mistakes, and they are crucial for negotiation. And if you're buying off-plan, they vet the developer's track record for you.
So the agent is half of your A-team. The other half is the lawyer, The property detective.
That's a great way to put it. A qualified independent Thai lawyer is absolutely non-negotiable.
Why independent?
Because you want someone who is working only for you, not for the seller or the developer. Their job is to conduct due diligence, to protect your interests.
And that starts with verifying the title deed.
Yes, they must confirm the property has a chunot title. That's the gold standard in Thailand. It means the land has been properly surveyed and the boundaries are guaranteed by the government.
And due diligence goes deeper than just the title, right? It's about protecting your future plans for the property.
Of course, the lawyer checks for encumbrances, making sure the property is clean, no mortgages, no liens, no legal disputes tied to it.
What about zoning?
Crucial. If your plan is to make money from short-term rentals, your lawyer has to confirm that the local zoning and the building's own rules actually permit that. You don't want to buy an investment property you're legally not allowed to rent out.
Okay, so the due diligence is underway. It's time to talk price. Negotiation is normal in Thailand.
It is. Your agent will advise you on a fair offer based on what similar properties have sold for. Once you agree on a price verbally, the first financial step happens.
Reservation deposit.
Right. It's usually a non-refundable payment, maybe 100 to 300,000 Thai baht, just to take the property off the market while your lawyer finishes their checks.
And that leads to the main document, the sales and purchase agreement, the SPA.
This is the big one. The legally binding contract that your lawyer will either draft or review very, very carefully.
What are the key things to look for in that SPA?
Well, beyond the price, the payment schedule is critical, especially for off-plan. Payments must be tied to specific construction milestones.
So you only pay the next installment when, say, the roof is on.
Exactly. It protects your capital. The SPA also details penalties if either side defaults on the agreement.
And then the final step, the big day. Completing the transfer at the land office, we have to say it one more time, if you're buying a foreign freehold condo,
You need that FETF form.
the foreign exchange transaction form.
It's the absolute proof the money came in legally for the purchase. Without it, the land department officials will not sign off. That's the day you, the seller, and your lawyers all meet to make it official.
And that's also the day the big transfer taxes are due.
Yep. There are four main costs. The transfer fee, which is about 2% of the property's appraised value. There's stamp duty at 0.5%.
Okay.
Then specific business tax, which is 3.3%, though the seller often pays that. And finally, withholding tax. Your lawyer will calculate it all and make sure it's paid correctly before the title deed is updated with your name.
Keys in hand. You've done it. Congratulations.
Yeah.
But the work isn't quite over.
No. If we connect this to the bigger picture, owning property in a place like Phuket requires proactive, ongoing management.
The practical stuff.
Exactly. First, you have to get things like electricity, water, and internet set up, which often requires a bit of local help. And you'd have to budget for the ongoing common area fees if you're in a condo or an estate,
That covers security, pool maintenance, all the shared services.
which are vital for keeping the value of your investment high.
And if your goal is rental income, especially if you live abroad, management is everything.
You almost have to see a professional rental management service as a necessary cost. They handle all the bookings, the maintenance, the check-ins, the marketing.
They take a cut, but they keep the property generating income in good condition.
And you have to remember the climate. Regular upkeep to check for damp or pests, and good building insurance against storms or fires are just part of owning property there.
So what does this all mean? We've laid out a pretty clear path. It starts with understanding the laws, the 49% condo quota, the leasehold structure for villas.
Then it's about the process. Securing that crucial FTF form, making sure your lawyer verifies the chunot title.
It really seems like preparation, anticipating those extra costs, and just assembling the right local team. That's what makes it a smooth process.
Buying a piece of paradise in Phuket is so achievable, and it's a special thing to do, but you need that local expertise to help you avoid the common and very expensive pitfalls.
And we have been guided today by the incredible market analysis of Ocean Worldwide. We have to remember, their director, Sandra O'Neill, has been helping thousands of families and investors do this successfully since 2004.
Their experience is just invaluable.
So if you are ready to take that next step to start looking for your own piece of paradise, you can go to oceanwwp.com.
And as you start thinking about your own strategy, here's a final thought to mull over. We talked about the difference in capital growth, how it's moderate for condos but can be high for villas. Now think about those big infrastructure projects we mentioned, the airport expansion, the new transport links. How are they going to impact property values in those currently quieter, better value neighborhoods?
Hmm.
Could today's laid-back spot in the South be tomorrow's prime luxury hotspot? Could you get in early and see the best of both worlds, strong capital growth and solid rental yields? Something to think about as you look at the map.
Fascinating stuff. That is all the time we have for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.